Oh, she ready, let's talk, cutting up in my stand. Run up them bands, as fuck as they telling me. Had to tell her come dinner, she was heavy. Had to tell her come dinner, she was heavy. See y'all, had to come steady. You don't see y'all, had to come steady. Hey, come back, we're gonna go steady. Room drinks and catch on the show. You don't know fame, but you knew that already. That bitch in the air, every time I get like an American baby. That money calling in this out of state, yeah, I'm going to get it. They ain't got motion, they think it's too local and way overseas. Shit, a movie, bitch, I need a GoPro, catch on the scene. That's what bitches that like to compete. Ain't gon' say on they call Billy Jean. But we kick it in, make that boy lean. Never come out there only they sleep. I came out that swamp. Can't fuck with no leash. Only know we no leash. Fucking casting is nice to me. They still in the field like feast. They still in the field like feast. They still in the field like feast. She ready. Oh, she ready. She ready. Hey. So she ready. Oh, she ready. Red top, cutting up in my stand. Them bands, as fuck as they telling me. Had to tell her come dinner, she was heavy. Had to tell her come dinner, she was heavy. Don't see y'all, had to come steady. Don't see y'all, had to come steady. So many games, but you know that right. So fast, but you know that right.
Top money game.
Looks like someone's clouded by doubt. It can leave you unable to think straight or to make the simplest of decisions.
Just pick one.
Thankfully, with the help of our insightful guidance, you can clear away the doubt and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
What is the online bookstore and how does it work? The online bookstore is your school's official bookstore. It's just on the internet instead of on campus. How does it work? Faculty or staff submit the course materials they want to use through the website, and we source the materials from a variety of providers, which helps keep prices affordable. Then you order online, and books are shipped right to you. Digital courseware is sent by email. The ordering process is easy. Log in with your student account, and the system will know what courses you're taking and what course materials have been assigned to you. It's always a good idea to visit the site early to review your assigned course materials. Once you're logged in, choose between new, used, ebook, rental, or marketplace textbooks. Quick question, what is the marketplace? The marketplace is where students around the country and other third-party sellers buy and sell books at heavily discounted prices. After you've placed your order, checking out takes just 5 minutes. If you have questions, we have answers. 24/7 customer service is available at the start of each major term, and you can always use
Doing an album in 24 hours, this shit too easy. Stop shaking that ass if you ain't fucking, I don't like me teasing. They don't want to smoke cause Diddy got that R, he just might crease me. I think on my chains whenever I'm going to sleep, the chain and freeze me. These niggas ain't talking about nothing, these niggas just yapping, yap. I got 5 seats in the colony, but she wanna sit on laps. I'm jumping in back on back, ain't doing no tit for tat. I'm pulling up tat, tat, tat. Why the fuck they think you comparing me? I'm whipping them motherfucking whore. On the nigga I make me poor. They scared me. They be thinking that they make more. Say, just put a brand new bus. I'm gonna be take hoes. Way too hard to get cuffed. I'm gonna rip their ears. I'm gonna burn that man. Doing no album in 24 hours. This shit too easy. Stop shaking that ass. I just want to smoke cause he got that R, he just might freeze me. I take all my chains whenever I'm going to sleep, that shit might freeze me. You niggas not talking about nothing, these niggas just yapping, yap. I got 5 seats in the colony, but she wanna sit on laps. I'm rocking my lips, I'm jumping it back on back. I'm throwing up tit for tat. I'm pulling up tat, tat, tat. I'm working in place on flex. Woo! Okay. Okay. I'm trying to rub it on yours because of me. She be returning the favor by fucking me. My life, but no, the numbers, they don't budget me. Spending that honey these days, ain't touching me. She feel the dick on her knee. She hugging me. Shawty finna give me brain. She keep on slugging me after I'm done. She wanna hear me saying, okay. Yours, I'm getting 24 hours. This is too easy. So shaking that ass, if you ain't for don't let me tease me. They don't want to smoke, cause Diddy got that art, he just might freeze me. I take on my chain whenever I go on the shoot, that shit might freeze me. These niggas ain't talking about.
Come on, bro. What's been going on with the internet lately, bro? On the game, on this shit, not my shit.
I'm dripping in black on black. Ain't doing no tips attack.
I'm pulling up tat.
Empty stomach and empty.
Is shaping up to be pretty big. I suspect WWE is going to want to pull out all the stops to make it a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
One of the reasons why is because we are about a month away from the Royal Rumble. It's a lot of time to go from January to the end of January without a pay-per-view. I know there's Saturday night's main event in there, but I don't expect that to be very big.
That's what she said.
We already know some of the matches that have been announced, but I've got some predictions for you. Ones that may come true and ones that may not. But let's first talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Kabuki Warriors, your champions, going up against Rhea and Io Sky. I see this going a couple of ways. They have some options here. This is culminating a very long feud for 2025. I honestly thought that the blow-off could easily be WrestleMania, with Rhea and Io picking up the belts there. We're going to get all of the women on SmackDown ahead of this, doing a multi-person match. I think for the tag title match on Raw, I'm going to say Rhea and Io pick up the belts. I don't see the harm in it. You want a feel-good moment, the pyro going off, everyone celebrating. I do think that going all the way to like Mania with them not getting the belts is a long road. And I think you can shake it up along the road to WrestleMania. Io and Rhea could drop the belts at the Rumble, at Chamber. They could regain them at WrestleMania and do it there. Because there's so many teams involved, I think they do have a lot of opportunities to play with these belts. But I'm going to say Rhea and Io, they pick up the belts, you get that big moment. Maybe at the very end, you could see even during the match, all of the other teams come down and they kind of cancel themselves out. Lash and Nia and Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, they all come down getting involved. But that's my first pick right there. Next up, Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. Now, Maxine has kind of just got the belt. I find it hard to believe that they would drop the belt off Maxine, give it back to Becky to do what exactly? Because I think that Maxine should get more title defenses. This is an interesting match, though. I'm excited to see it, to see how they both perform in it. I think the promos leading up to the match have been very good. It's been a well-built feud. And I think it's a big moment for Maxine to really see that she can hang with Becky at a high level. Now, I think it's an easy move to just give the IC title back to Becky and she can move on to a new story with the belt. Maxine chases. But Maxine, again, she just got this thing. And it'd be a huge notch under her belt to beat Becky once again. I don't think that this is going to be clean. I can see one of two things happening here. One, Maxine retains with the help, again, from AJ Lee. But I don't think you want to rinse and repeat the exact same story beat. If you have AJ just run down, it's all the same thing all over again. It fuels their rivalry for them to go off and have a match, Becky and AJ. But I don't think you want to just do the exact same scenario again. The other thing I thought of was Maxine does lose. Becky beats her by cheating or just some nefarious means. And then AJ comes down. I just think that AJ Lee gets involved in this match one way or another. But Becky picks up the belt. They can then bring out AJ Lee to confront her. And there's your Intercontinental title match that they're going to set up for Royal Rumble.
What you want, bro? What you want, bro? God damn. Nigga, get out the ring for what? Ooh, what ass nigga.
involving AJ Lee, Maxine Dupree retains a roll-up something by herself. She does it on her own. Becky is enraged. She loses her mind. She destroys Maxine in the ring. She always beat on Becky, which then brings out AJ Lee, and she ends up evening the odds and stops Becky Lynch from doing all of this. So Maxine gets the state champion. Becky can then spin off with AJ Lee. I just feel like it's kind of a good time to do it. You can get AJ on TV then for several weeks. You can get them in the Royal Rumble together. And you can have a big showdown in the Rumble match. Becky maybe eliminates AJ during the Rumble, and then that sends the course off to go to WrestleMania. And I don't think the IC title needs to move that. Now, other predictions for other matches we could see, aside from the World Title match we'll talk about towards the end, but another matchup I think they will likely do is what we saw teased at the end of Raw this past week. Rey Mysterio and Penta team up to take on the Vision. The Austin Theory and Logan Paul tagging together against Egypt. In that match, if that does happen, and it feels like it will, I think that the Vision will
Step into the market with fresh financial options curated with you. Like Red Credit Card offers with sweet perks, loan offers surge up fresh, and auto insurance options with fresh sweet. It's your one stop to the financial products you want in your shop. Download Credit Card today.
Big right hand from main event. And another big right. Nothing fancy here. A quick reversal by Jay. Here's the pump handle. Suplex launched.
Rey Penta just returns the injury, but you want being strong. You get, especially if it's leading in the fall, you want being that is strong as she's trying to climb the ladder with a brand new to the school. The match between Theory and Rey are any disqualification because of Logan Paul. I think you want to give them the bad guys some kind of work, which then you need to think down the road, maybe you run there with them, push it. You stack the numbers. You add Rey Felix to the group, and they take on all of the Vision. So you get Rey, the Lucha Brothers, they team up, and they go up against Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed. Fun six-man tag, and that could totally work at Saturday Night's Main Event. And you're getting the reunion. First time ever in WWE, the Lucha Brothers. Which, if I'm foreshadowing this in my stupid brain, I think it's a great opportunity to bring in the Lucha Brothers that way. It's Rey Mysterio. It gets so well as a collector, but then the Lucha Brothers can spin off. And they can have the tag team matches against the Vision, but they can also then go off and have tag matches properly against the Usos and the New Day, and do one for the tag division, which can lead to a match at WrestleMania. The other thing I see happening on Raw, Triple H and Russo, they come on down, and they run it back, and they do the big Tuesday celebration, because they're the brand new World Tag Team Champions. This could just be a celebration, nothing more. 5 minutes, go to the crowd to beat chant along and celebrate with them. Do you feel like they can do still good? They beat AJ Styles, Dragon Lee. Do they come out with the pump and shake their hands and eat one? Do they have to leave? You see multiple people there. Or, I'd like to see WrestleMania doing something totally different. I'd love to see the Usos celebrate, then Street Profits appear, and they spend money on Raw. They come in with the pump Usos. They need to beat up this tag team division. I think that AJ Styles is probably going to move on to have done there or continue his singles run. And so, new teams, Viking Raiders, I don't see them coming out. New Day, Stroh, but we've already been there so soon. Maybe it is a situation where we go but I'd like to see something like Street Profits come in, they get signed, and that helps to balance the tag division a little bit more. Alright, other predictions for this episode of Raw. It's a beefy. Again, try to treat it like it's a big PR. We would just slap everything we can together. The other thing I can see is what happens on Raw already is the debut of Trick Williams on Monday Night Raw. They are moving calls. They are doing this finally. I'm excited that they will finally have these fresh names and faces on Raw and SmackDown. These are these faces and put them in front of them. I think Trick Williams does have a debut match, kind of like Javon Evans has done. Against who? I don't know. Grande Americano. Perhaps somebody will have a nice match with. Can go with him in the ring, make him look good, and Trick gets the victory. I think it's a great way to just bring Trick. I do feel though if he is going to come in and have just an exhibition type of match, after that, get him regularly on TV, like get him semi-main event, put stuff there so we can see what he can do and have different teams. I also think throughout the show, because it's going to be a partnership thing with Netflix and Stranger Things WWE, I think you're going to see a lot of the talent, whatever matches are, a lot of them are going to be Stranger Things inspired comedy. It doesn't necessarily go into the great stuff, but because it's a good Stranger Things and Stranger Things, I think they will integrate it somehow. They will also have it like all over the LEDs, barricades, and it's a big speculation, big prediction here. It is possible. The Eagles are running wild corner. But there's a very good chance that we see the return of Chris Jericho. It's a 2.5 hour show. That would make it 6 to 3. I don't know. There is a good chance that he's a thing. Dead time. There's a possibility they bring Jericho around that. And they kind of recreate what they did for his original debut in WWE. He confronted the Rock. He interrupted the Rock on Raw. The Jericho counter. Does he get break the wall down? Does he get Judas? I don't care. I'm going to pop him right away. Suppose that Jericho coming out on Raw. Maybe he interrupts Gunther. Crowd will go nuts. It'll be a huge moment. I think it's not Raw. And by all accounts, if he is in Jericho's coming to WWE, it's not Raw, then it's got to be the Royal Rumble. If you like going on Raw, it's a big deal. In the Royal Rumble, it's a huge stadium, like, it's a big deal to do that. Saudi Arabia, the Raw will start there. But imagine if you did get a really cool move for Raw like that. Instead of the Rumble, where he comes out and he enters, and then he's going to get eliminated. It also takes Jericho. He can either interrupt somebody, or just do an entrance, and that's it. But I think he could go up against Gunther. I'm not a complication if he did with the Rock. It's the main event for this whole show. I'm assuming for the main event. But it's going to be Braun Breaker challenging CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I am conflicted on this. I'd love to know the CM Punk will. If you guys can, hit the subscribe button and channel to 1,000 subs. It's going to be fantastic. Really there. Oh no, that's a pack this. Braun Breaker could win the World Heavyweight Championship. Feels like they could easily pull the trigger. I don't see a real downside to pulling the World Heavyweight Breaker at this time of the year. They go all over the front. You can roll
Look yourself. Get the fuck up here. Being bitch made.
Fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. Let's do that. Seth Rollins can return. Confront Breaker champion. You get Seth versus Breaker for the world title. And the main event. Slapping CM Punk in there too. I think that there are some of those two make this match that's fun and interesting for me is the possibilities and the directions they can go. I could see, honestly, another masked figure attack CM Punk in this match and giving Breaker the victory. I'm not speculation on all of this, the masked man thing. I know we got Austin Theory, but if there were two different people that were the masked attacker, and that totally in a few years during WWE.
That's way too high to be
but I like to go that point that there's a second attacker, and I wonder if we could get that if it ends up being somebody like a Montez Ford, or even Trick Williams still up on that. Have Trick be the other masked attacker. If he joins the business, it is freaking masked, Breaker's world champion, and you expand the group. If you don't have masked attacker, well, you could just have CM Punk win. And that's the thing. If Punk just beats Breaker, he beats Breaker. He beats Spear, PTS, twice, 3 times. He doesn't even try to get involved, and other people thwart that off and push them away. CM Punk retains the belt. And he holds it high at the end of the ball. I don't find that very compelling. I find it kind of cool. Okay, he beats Breaker. Now, you just carry on with nothing. There's no other partner. Breaker was just one on one defense. He didn't consider it. Maybe he's in there. Who knows? You gotta tee up Logan Paul, Bronson Lee? Maybe. But the Punk just wins. And there's nothing else going on in the Raw. I think that would be just a massive letdown and just a unless it's like Punk wins and then another big left in the because like Punk goes to work as champion and he's not defend the belt at the Royal Rumble and he'll get the belt and it opens the doors up for who could win the Royal Rumble and challenge him. Let's not be mistaken that 2026 WWE puts a little bit more foot on the gas for younger talent all the feminine talent. Soul workouts, Arm Evans called up, Trick Williams called up, and Braun Breaker champion. I think it's a good time of the year as well because the Kenneth Breakers dropped the belt they really want to. Finally,
defense complete. Look at little John Henry swinging the hammer like that, but his torso continues to. He just hit the ground with such a bone-chilling thud. Hopefully he'll show no signs of recovering soon. We can only hope he's okay.
It seems like it's happening. It seems like Trae Young is going to get more from the Atlanta Hawks sometime soon. Mark Stockton's on the report of Substack that says the Hawks are looking to trade Trae Young. There's a more belief why the Hawks are more likely to trade Trae Young than they ever have been. But what happens to their payroll? And no such trade materializes. And Young winds up exercising that option. That's because Tim Bontemps says the Hawks are looking for ways to get rid of Trae Young. The Hawks certainly are indicating that they're looking for an exit plan for Trae Young. Now, he thinks it. Tim Bontemps, if I'm not mistaken, he said this on the podcast, and as someone that talks for a living, I know that sometimes you are in the moment and you may not use the right language, right? So to use the word get rid of or use the word exit, right? It flows my attention a little bit. But also, Mark Stein's a little different. Mark Stein's not saying this on the podcast. These are carefully curated words on Substack. And he used the idea of Trae Young taking on a player option as a negative thing for the Atlanta Hawks. And lets us know everything we need to know about where the Trae Young market is right now. And when he does, and if he does with trading, how little he's going to trade it for. This video is sponsored by CD. You can look at the description. Use code KF10 for 10% off your purchase of tickets. CD take tickets from all of your events and locations for you. Whether it be sporting events, comedy, Broadway, festivals, concerts, if you need tickets, you gotta check out CD first. Let me show you how easy it is. Let's say I wanted to go to WWE location today, right? I know that was here this year, or this year. Let's see this about February 28th. I need 2 tickets to better see the venue, the group about the better deal, and I wanted to be there basically inside. That is pretty penny. But as you can see, these right here, there's a lot of them. Students really good to amazing deals. Maybe I just want to get into the club. Let's just say sort by the price. And this is not the worst that you could do, but it's the cheapest you can get to. It really is that simple. I don't know what type of book that these years, but that is going to be an amazing event. All you gotta do is hit the link in the description. Now, the season as a whole has been an interesting one for the Atlanta Hawks. It reminds me so much of the Chicago Bears years in the past, where for what feels like the third time in 12 years, I look at the Atlanta Hawks in the offseason winner, and I said, hey, this is the year they're going to look pretty good. And thank God the Bears and killed that curse. They were offseason winners for so long. Baby, but the Atlanta Hawks are going to pick it up his and still with the health stuff, but a lot of us believe that he's going to be able to get past that. So he sees the season.
So fucking trash.
That should be our boy, obviously, right now. That is not the case. But bringing a kid out of the Walker, who was really good for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the last couple seasons, but I mean, people have like a dub right now. So like he really has been as good as it gets. Jalen Johnson coming back from his injury. Even Luke Kennard, who I swear I've watched him for 12 years. He still doesn't shoot the ball. He's one of the best three-point shooters of all time. These guys coming into the locker room of the Atlanta Hawks, in my mind, and made them a winner. And before the season started, with Halliburton being down and Jason Tatum being down, majority of people looked at the East and said it's open. We got the Knicks, we got the Cavs as the first tier, and after that, you can convince yourself of the Orlando Magic. You can convince yourself of the Atlanta Hawks. And the Hawks are, a 500 team for the 100th year in a row. Them, the Bulls, Miami Heat going to compete again for another play-in spot. It's crazy, y'all. Trae Young gets injured, 6 to 8 games? Yeah, yep. I skipped that number because I'm tired of it. It's almost 2026. 6 to 8 games to the season. Trae Young goes down with injury, right? And then the Atlanta Hawks go on that West Coast road trip, and they start winning games. Decker Kabu cannot miss. Jalen Johnson continues to look like a superstar. The Kelsey Walker's putting up 20 balls, 30 balls. And it always becomes a conversation. Could this team be better without their star player? It happened the same season with Paolo Banchero, right? Paolo goes out. Franz Wagner and the Magic go on a little streak. And the question was, are they better without Paolo? Same thing happened.
Yes, because obviously they're not better without Franz.
And I'll give you a specific
Franz out there like ass.
the Phoenix Suns. And this is one of the times where Onyeka Okongwu could not miss for like a month straight. He said every single three. And Onyeka Okongwu hits a huge three. And I look over to the bench and like, is Trae Young over there? First of all, is he there? He was. And second of all, is he celebrating? Is this like, this is still his team? Because we knew all the conversations going into the season about how he wanted an extension and the Hawks were giving him an extension. And that could potentially put a wedge between him and his teammates, him and the organization. But he was on the sideline celebrating as if he was the one that hit the shot. If you look at his Twitter account the entire time when the team is rolling, he's got Vic Reggie tweets. He's tweeting about, just wait till I come back, we're going to be even better, and so on. And then he came back. And then they gave up 150 points per game to the Bulls in a 2-game stretch. He came back. And they continued to lose basketball games. Now, I don't want to put all of that on Trae Young, don't get me wrong, because there was a ramp going down before Trae Young came back. I damn near my weight. I don't stand a chance against some of the people at the YMCA. So I definitely don't stand a chance in the NBA. And we see teams try to pick on Trae Young all the time, right? Trae Young led the league in pick and rolls defended last season. Every team is going to put him into the action. But I remember watching his first game back, and the Charlotte Hornets, who were not a notoriously amazing team, they were first part of the season, really made it a point to be like, this is Trae Young for one, and he's just coming back. So let's put him in every single action we can. Let me go get my notebook. So I'm going to show y'all some of the plays that they put Trae Young in. It's like a plus not. He no good. In a spot that one of them got stolen. We got one left. There's somebody out there that has an NBA and NBC notebook with a bunch of notes from the start of the NBA season. You could probably sell it. Actually, sell it to me. Sell it back to me because I like keeping my notes.
What's the point of you coming over here and doing that shit?
So it's not just about putting Trae Young in every single action, just making him work and not being able to hide him. It's also the lack of communication. I try my very best to give players and coaches and all the people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to some of this stuff. Chandler's first getting back, hasn't played with these guys for a few months now. Miscommunications can happen, but this was like so egregious, causing such a strain for Brent Miller and Dyson James and Trae Young go to follow him instead of nobody picks up LaMelo, who took his game to 7 threes in the first half. And a lot of them looked exactly like this. I'm not going to tell you that I know more basketball than people on the court with the coaches, but that seems like something that shouldn't happen in the NBA game as often as it did. And this should be the last one I'm going to show you. But here's one where this is somebody transition off of me, and then they did mismatch. He's guarding Johnson the entire game. The guy who was defending the picker was hedging these screens. Trae Young here. You see what I see.
So you have some friends over and everyone's having a good time. And all of a sudden,
he is determined to fight out of this predicament.
So it has not been good. This full stop. It has not been good. It's been so bad. He gets called out on the broadcast. This is not a kind of broadcast, and I understand it. It says MSG in the corner. This is Adam Pomp. But let's just run.
Strong finish. Now watch Trae Young get this again. Make winning plays. Okay, so you're trying to throw the foul. Is there any hustle, any effort there whatsoever? It's the face of your franchise.
So all of that is going on. And the Atlanta Hawks are over. Because they don't want this team having to pay Trae Young next season and eventually once his contract is I do want to probably say my emphasis with Jalen Johnson's amazing season so far, and how little he has given effort on the defensive side of the ball on a nightly play-by-play basis. But I understand that when the offensive work sucks, and then you got sacrificed to him to somewhere else, and happens to be the defensive side more times than not for breakout players. But one of the reasons I was so high in the Atlanta Hawks is I thought that Jalen Johnson's defensive facility, Nelson Daniels, and Porzingis, and Conley in the back end, they should be enough to cover up some of the Trae Young stuff. And because Jalen Johnson just isn't the defender that he was, let's just say last year, 2 years ago, they haven't been able to compensate for Trae. Excuse me, compensation, but compensating. Trae Young has never been a defender. This is not something that just started in 2025. He never has been able to be a defender. Every time his equity levels were extremely high compared to previous seasons. But again, when you're my size and my weight or whatever it really ends up being, this is going to be tough to guard at the NBA level. The difference was his offensive output was so great that you felt like it was going to be an NBA. The guy was one of the best offensive engines in all of basketball. The Red Hawks for years for a really good to great offensive team to Trae on the floor. That just has not been the case as of recent. Part of that is not a great three-point shooter, even given the difficulty of the shots. He overall just been a poor efficiency player for, 2 years. So that goes back to the original game of the trades, right? The Red Hawks want to get an exit plan for Trae Young because they don't want to take him off the rock.
Oh, nigga, you want to be around me so bad, huh, nigga? God damn, boy, get your ass back. Do something. Do something, bitch ass nigga.
You would expect him to call, but also he had
grab his bitch ass. Bro, where are you going?
Like nothing has ever.
Bro, who the fuck is you grabbing, nigga?
Because they paid the market.
God damn.
Players and the teams want Trae Young
ass cap.
To give up access.
Ah, dumbass bitch. Your ass cap. Fuck out of here, nigga. No my body. No my body, nigga. You going through that shit for no reason. Dumbass nigga, you might as well go back up that bitch.
To put together the assets to go get Trae Young without more than what they have right now.
Yeah,
he's at a position where it feels like a lot of teams are trying to
look at your dumbass
position locked down. Just look at the association from the Cades, the Hawks, to the Suns don't have anybody in the world, but like they're doing great.
This shit to me get a day.
We go to the left side between Shea and all the guards over there. They don't really have guards over here. But like some of these teams that don't have point guards, don't have what it would take to go get Trae Young.
Dumbass nigga just get out the
even if they need a point guard. So the only leaves us with a few teams that wouldn't be in the Trae Young sweepstakes. One of them is the Sacramento Kings, who I think my boy Derek may have said it best in yesterday's episode of Season 4, that the Sacramento Kings are going to have to try to end up running their show like the Raptors in the sense that they have to trade for what would be their free agency. And if the value of Trae Young is really low, then that would be a team that should be trying to get in that conversation. But the problem with that is when I think about being the words that are used to describe what the Trae Young trade would look like, the exit length and so on, in my mind, I'm thinking about getting back.
Why you keep missing this shit?
Deals, and
fucking trash ass. What you missing?
Kings trade like the Marlon Rose.
That's why I hate when it's doing when it does this little movement shit. I hate this like this type of camera y'all be putting in this shit. Y'all niggas lame for doing this shit.
Seems like the Hawks are interested.
Look at this shit. Shit don't even play right. Jump off the goddamn thing.
Which is the whole conversation for the whole day. But it feels like the team that might eventually trade for Trae Young is going to be like a super duper desperate team like the Milwaukee Bucks trying their very best to try to keep Giannis happy.
This shit glitchy or something.
Right now, but trying to use this as their free agent, trying to use this to bridge the gap between the super young core and what's going to happen soon. And I keep trying to convince myself that one spot is the Washington. Let me give you a reason why. And I'm not saying it's a perfect fit or anything, but the Washington have been on the field for 3 to 4 years now. And even before that, they weren't good anyway. Like the last couple of years of the Bradley Beal stuff was like 35 wins, 36 wins, missing playoffs. So their franchise has been deprived of postseason success for some time, the postseason appearances for some time. And you look at that over there, you got some guys having an amazing sophomore season. Keyshawn George, a guy I think a lot of people in the NBA really did well. We got Trey Johnson, who's been playing really well as a starter. So that one position that they really need is a point guard. And right now, it's a lot of season. Carlo and Sabah Carrington, who has his moments, but for the most part, it's not having an amazing season. And I can look at it and I can step and say, like, hey, Trae Young being here kind of makes some sense as a bridge to help some of the guys that we care about, because we care about, get better. But also it requires Trae Young to try to
pick up the chair. Pick the chair up.
High screen roll to be
God dang.
Trae Young is an amazing passer. We see them kind of be that full time. But it turns a Wizards team that, like, this is not good to like a more intriguing team. And it also kind of gears them up because I don't think if they add Trae Young, they're about to go out there and now compete for a playing spot right now. So they can still end up with one of the top picks in the draft, but also have a
dumbass, like he's trying to go back dumb shit.
Maybe it could be the change that to go back to the guy that he was in 2021 and 2022. I feel like you can get that done without giving up any of the things you really care about. Again, exit ramp is what I'm thinking. You got two of the bigger expired contracts in all the basketball between 6 and 12 and Edison. You have a guy like Corey Kispert who is good, but like, do you really care about Corey Kispert to good the Russell Wizards and his contract is not too crazy?
You better do that shit. Better fucking switch up on last nigga.
And they also have a pick that is not
better
there.
fucking switch up on last nigga.
Protect the picks from like 3 different playoff teams. So you can, in the world, have it so that you still retain your own first round pick this season. Give up a first round pick that doesn't value to you. And give in a guy like Trey Young. And
it's so lame, bro. Jimmy, you are so
bad. Teams like this to see next season, it's not that much of a commitment in the situation when you do win the lottery. You get Darren Peterson, like, oh my God, Trey and Darren Peterson. First of all, they probably could coexist. But if you want to say, hey, Trey, thank you for your 2 years of service to help us at least learn the fit, like there's kind of like a ghost string attached to this hypothetical. And then if you are able to turn it around for Trey Young, like, boom, you got another star. And now we look at the list, like, man, they got a better player than this tick. And I think one of the reasons why this works is because the flattened odds, there really is no incentive to be in the literal worst team of the NBA. And right now, the Wizards are second to worst. So, like, they're very close to worst. But there's no real incentive as we continue to see between the Hawks who did it or the Mavericks who did it. You could be a team that was like, I don't know, the 8th best odds and still win the lottery. Not even just win it, the 76ers just jumped into the lottery last season. Even the top 4, I mean, and even the Spurs jumped into the top 4 just last season. Even if you don't win, you can jump up and still walk away with something great. I know that this draft class at the top is really potent. I don't know much about these dudes. Let me be honest with you. I know their names. I haven't watched much film of it.
Duking it out, trying to keep their footing in the process.
We can't just say that in order for our rebuild to be successful, we need the top 3 pick. You know what I mean?
Last night in a leather-clad booth without a see-through top. There's an elite committee of experts, analysts, and someone who didn't realize that a see-through towel needs to be a towel. Just order a non-towel. It's basically the same. And cornhole and basketball are the same thing. Just verticality is not a component. It is the component. Paul and Rosenberg and Midnight Oil to deliver the best segment of all sports with an honor and a privilege.
Throw that bitch ass nigga down.
It's time for mixed tears.
Love
it. Before we get to tears, since Kevin Wiles used the intro to talk about the show Young use Greg's intro to Greg for, listen, I don't know if you're watching it 4K and HD. I can just wake up like this on 4 hours sleep. It takes work, time, effort, self-care to lift the way good. Brought blame it should be noted that Kevin Wiles, after dinner, but before dessert, took the call from his family. He was out of town. And then came back to the table and says,
Javon Evans getting his ass with trash.
This guy,
and I said, this the nigga y'all pick?
I ain't your party supreme. His response was, because my kids are at the Jazz Celtics game.
Yeah, that nigga was hurt.
It doesn't make any sense. No, they have decent seats. What did that mean? You mean the league? You heard something called a plateau. I wanted tower the whole time. I was like, we'll have the plateau. And I bit my tongue. Did you really question the tower? I called the plateau, and a plane storm came out. You gotta be kidding. It's up to tears. No elimination. Because everyone staved it off last week, so it's still those same 16 teams eliminated. Which of these 4 will be the 2 teams to join them who will go into a facing elimination tier? It's 2 divisions that will only get a team in the playoffs because every division championship. Where one team is 9-7, trying to hold on, the other team's 8-8, trying to sneak in. Yet, One of the divisions was the AFC South, where everyone agrees, well, that team can't go all the way. The other division, the AFC North, were like, well, look out what you're talking about. This is for our young audience who maybe wasn't familiar with the greatest, in my opinion, sketch comedy show of all time, the Chappelle Show. One of the greatest episodes ever of the Chappelle Show was the playoff. This tier is the first things first playoff baseball, and here's what I mean. We are staring at a likely round one of the Chargers going to New England and the Packers going to Chicago to play the Bears. And as my Chiefs will not be playing this weekend, I am telling you, I will, for virtue of really just trying to wild and Danny in pain, be rooting for the Chargers as if I have my mortgage on those games and as if I am lifelong fan. As it happens, to me, those are also two teams in the exact same bucket. Had they stayed healthy all year, maybe they would have been real legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I think in the state they currently are going into the playoffs, they are not real legitimate Super Bowl.
Your ass.
Yeah.
And he gets a huge Justin
Trash. That does nothing.
He should have stayed from Chargers.
Fuck out of here. Y'all niggas boo-boo as hell. Y'all can't fuck with Diddy.
That's why I would need the Packers to beat the Bears to win Danny said.
Getting your ass whooped. Look at you. Getting your ass whooped. Getting your ass whooped. Trash. Look at it. Hard. Can't even see. Back getting your ass whooped. Can't see. Look at it. Fiending. Fiending.
I haven't seen him fly. I'm pretty sure like, there's a chance that they'll get eyes out of the stadium.
Look at him trying to get a body. Track and he jump.
We know what wins Texans run. We don't know when their season, but we know the Texans and Broncos, who have had exceptional defenses, Broncos been a little shaky as of late, exceptional defenses and intermittent bouts of good quarterbacking with a lot of lacking quarterbacking in the offense as a whole.
Trash.
Whenever their season ends for these two teams, we know what the script will be. And the defense that's been so great all year just, allowed 20 instead of 13, and the offense wasn't quite good enough that day to overcome it. Don't know when it'll end, but we know what the script will be. We have must-win coming up in about 20 minutes. There's only one true must-win of playoffs, and it is the Buffalo Bills. They must, of course, win the first playoff game, or else being Buffalo alone. If they were to go one and done as after not winning the division, I think Sean McDermott's job is seriously in jeopardy. But then after that, it is this team, which is playing its likely final game ever in its stadium this weekend, so they're not going to have a home playoff game, it would look like, must find a way through the road postseason to get to its first Super Bowl, because they have squandered their moment as the only contending team in their division. They can't also squander their moment of likely the only playoff Josh Allen will ever play in the Patrick Mahomes team.
Oh my God, no! This is out of control. Letting go of any apprehension and just taking flight from, 20, 30 feet? I've seen buildings less tall and no one was jumping off of those.
Damn.
That chair came in on them fast.
Bye-bye.
Will he get on with it already? This is a fight. Oh, man, such precise striking. Standing on production boxes and shipping crates, willing to fight anywhere and everywhere.
One team's defense has been the best in the league in 2 years. The other team's defense can't stop. One team's head coach has 100% approval rating on its changes. The other team's head coach just asked our producer Dusty or Eagles fan Kevin Wilds, so on thin ice, even though they're the defending Super Bowl champions. One team's quarterback, we know he makes the layups, but we question why he doesn't have more explosive plays or consistency in his passing game. The other team's quarterback, we know can do all the explosive plays. We question why he can't make the layups. They have Despite all that, they have the same record. They're the 2-3 or the 3-2, depending on how this week it goes. They have very similar Super Bowl odds. How they got here, very different. Where they are, actually, as far as chance wins Super Bowl, very similar. I didn't think Marshall was nice when we do this. It's not about me, but he said insufferability on 1,000.
Fires back with a crucial elbow.
Can you imagine?
This is just brute.
Imagine what it will be like
It's absolute dominance.
if next year's football season, I'm set up, because I've said Patrick's made 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and won the AFC 3 years in a row. If all of a sudden, like Patrick and Trevor have made 6 of the last 7 Super Bowls, won the AFC 4 years in a row, oh my goodness. 5 wins away, Kevin Wiles. That's what it is. It's this weekend matters. And you're not going. You guys aren't. If you're resting your players, it wouldn't apply to you. Assuming your double-digit favorites, you can't. Losing this weekend would be a canary in the coal if you guys play your guys in a game that Grable, I think, clearly thinks matters, because being the 2 seed has value versus being the 3 seed, and you have a small chance Trey Lance can put something up of maybe even being the 1 seed. You are 5 wins away from immortality and 5 wins away, and you never took it here with the Drake May conversation. 5 wins away from Drake May being considered the best player in the league. You are. You're 5 wins away.
Now finds himself in quite the precarious position up there. Look at the confidence.
He believes my great guy.
Honestly, all of our attention right now.
Nicely done. These superstars need to be very cautious.
The hardest path possible. That's what the just got. First of all, it's what they've had all year already. One of the hardest schedules any team with this many wins has had in recent history. Toughest schedule in the league, but then also if you go back years as far as what their strength of schedule is for what they have achieved. And now they are adding to that path, potentially on the road against the defending Super Bowl champs in round 1. Then on the road against maybe the 1 seed in round 2. And on the road in round 3, it didn't have to be this hard. It now is going to be this hard. It also would make it to where if this team ends up winning the Super Bowl, one of the most impressive start to finish as far as who you beat and list of wins and where they took place seasons of the last decade in the NFL, the path is not going to be easy. No one saw this coming. Nobody. Before the year, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were talking about how this could be a, on-the-fly, not rebuild, but retooling season. After we talked about the Niners a ton all offseason, we didn't talk about it that much on the show because it didn't feel like, with all the injuries, with the quarterback being hurt, with Bosa, with